One of the fighter heroes that you can definitely use in the gold lane is Masha, because she's also a scaling hero and she needs items, so she's very suitable for the gold lane. She can easily burst down a marksman, especially in a 1v1 situation. However, it's common for the marksman you're up against to be accompanied by their roamer. The enemy jungler and mid lane also always visit the gold lane, which actually gives an advantage to using a fighter in that situation, because they're not easy to burst down, especially Masha, since she has 3 HP bars. And I'm telling you, in situations like this where you're up against 2 enemies and you're all alone, the worst case scenario is that you take down one and get killed as well. Because Masha can easily kill the enemy mage or marksman right in front of their tank. And most of the time, what happens is you kill one and the other enemy runs away. And if they don't run, you'll most likely get a double kill. And I read a comment saying I shouldn't teach my viewers to use fighters in the gold lane because it'll increase the number of dark system players. Bro, first of all, the fighters I post about are definitely viable in the gold lane, even if your rank is still immortal. What's funny is someone else commented that I should use them in mythical glory and above to see if it's really effective. Well, here we are. This is already mythical glory. Second, the real reason there are so many dark system games is because of all the marksman users. There are just way too many using MM right now, and they always refuse to adjust, then ended up being a burden. So you should actually be thanking me, because I'm teaching them to use fighters, which they can also use in the EXP lane or jungle in case their teammates refuse to adjust. That's better than ending up with 2 or even 3 marksmen on your team, right? And someone also said that Alucard gold lane isn't effective if the enemy has a lot of crowd control. Bro, wherever you use Alucard, that's always going to be his weakness. But it's actually better in gold lane because you can use Purify to remove CC and get CC immunity for 1.2 seconds, or just use Vengeance to help sustain enemy damage in case you get CC'd. Plus, since you're in gold lane, you can farm fast and likely get tough boots and rose gold meteor early. The problem with people like that is, they already see the proof that it works, and yet they still refuse to believe it. They're just pretending to be blind. And to my viewers who've already tried using Alucard and Masha in the gold lane, comment your experience so others can read it, especially those who don't want to learn new strategies. And like I always say, if you're a solo player, most of the time fighter gold lane is better because you're not dependent on your teammates. You can split push in the late game, and you can even win the game by yourself. It's not like the fighter heroes I use in the gold lane are unreasonable. I keep repeating that I only use damage fighters. Because tanky fighters aren't scaling heroes, they don't need to build items right away to be useful or effective in the game. And every time I post something, I always test it multiple times first to see if it's actually effective. If I find that it works and is viable in the gold lane, that's the only time I make a video about it. I'm not the type of YouTuber who shows you some impossible game. I mean, something that would never happen in a real match. Like building a completely unreasonable item on a hero and still somehow getting 50 kills. That's absurd. Or like other content creators who are just experimenting with builds, but then a lot of players misunderstand the context and end up copying it. Because what's the use of a marksman if the player using it is bad? In fact, the only real advantage that marksmen have over the fighters I use in the gold lane is their range. And if the player is truly bad, no matter what hero they use, they'll still play badly. Don't be afraid of the hero they're using. Be afraid of the player using it. Except for most Mia, Hanabi, or Layla users, because honestly, 90% of them are just plain dumb. Anyway, this is already my second game, and once again, I'm up against Carry in the gold lane, and their jungler is Granger. There you go. Because people put too much value on having a marksman in the lineup, it ends up becoming 2 marksmen. Let's see who wins. The no marksman lineup or the double marksman lineup. Here, since I only had 1 HP bar left, my plan was to recall first, then enter the portal. But the portal got destroyed right away, so my plan got ruined too. And we're already at a disadvantage in the early game, probably because our tank and mage always have terrible positioning. And on top of that, they're feeders in this match. We might actually lose this one since they have 2 marksmen, and they're already strong even in the early game, which means they'll be even stronger in the late game. That's the mindset of most players, right? They want a marksman because they think it guarantees late game damage. Though honestly, I still think it would have been more effective if they had a marksman jungler and a fighter in the gold lane, like Masha. Granger is strong in the jungle anyway, but the problem here is carry is the one dragging them down. That's what usually happens when there are too many marksman users. Most players only accept marksman in the gold lane, and that's exactly why they don't improve. They stay mediocre. Meanwhile, I've had teammates who don't complain about gold lane fighters. They're the reasonable ones. But those who start whining during the draft phase, I swear, those are the real burdens and dead weight in the team. Chip's ultimate was always poorly timed in this game. We were never really ready to fight whenever he used it. His ultimate is really strong when the enemies are isolated, but if they're grouped up like this, it just doesn't work well. Plus, the enemies kept entering the portal because it was placed right in front of them. That's why Chip is best used in a 5-man or at least trio setup. Or at the very least, he should be on mic and his teammates should be listening to his shot calls. Because when your Chip teammate is about to use his ultimate, you actually need to hide so the enemies can't follow through the portal. And he should also give a signal or warning before ulting so you have time to position yourself. Chip is really great when used in coordinated teams, especially in 5-man setups. But when you're solo, it's super risky. This kind of thing happens a lot. Sometimes your teammates won't even enter the portal, like they don't care. Or worse, some will just charge in without thinking, even if there are too many enemies and the rest of the team has already backed off. But for me, Chip is one of my favorite teammates when I'm using Masha, because once he uses his ultimate, I can easily burst down anyone. I don't even have to worry about how I'll reach the enemy damage dealer. He takes care of that for me. And honestly, I think he's even better than Johnson for me as a solo player, because most of the Johnsons I get as teammates don't really know what they're doing. No strategy, always visible on the map, and they don't even know how to go into a bush without crashing into something. Carrie was super aggressive here. She even flickered right in front of me. Good thing Chip was able to rescue me right away. I just hid in the bush, trying to see if I could still help. But then Tigreal showed up too, so I recalled before entering the portal. This is what makes Chip kind of sneaky. The portal being connected to the base is super convenient, even if there's no hero there. You can regen at the base first before entering, as long as the enemy doesn't destroy it right away. Watch what I'm about to do here. This is the second time I'm going to turret dive Sea Lion, and I'll break the turret at the same time. I wonder what Sea Lion is feeling at this point. The only problem was that Granger was the one who killed Madara, and Chip's portal wasn't available at that point. Like I said, Fighter Gold Lane is great because you can be isolated from your teammates, and that's exactly what you want. You can handle almost any hero on your own, of course not literally everyone, since there are also heroes strong in isolated fights, and I swear those are usually fighters too. But any mage, marksman, or even assassin, Masha can definitely take them down. That was such a funny moment because I tanked so many skills, but I'm still alive and kicking like nothing even happened. I really thought Chip ulted someone squishy here. Turns out it was Tigreal. I guess I expected too much. I didn't expect the enemies to be grouped up like that, and on top of that, he ulted a tank. And it's Tigreal, who even has a counter set. Good thing I still survived and Karina was clutch. She waited for the enemies to get low before jumping in, and that got her a triple kill. She's really strong. But yeah, because I kept pushing the turret, I ended up dying. But I think it's still fine since the inhibitor turret in the top lane got destroyed anyway. I'm just split pushing here, and this is one of the benefits of using a fighter. You can easily split push and not be as afraid of the enemies because most fighters can handle 1v2 situations, unlike when you're a marksman, dependent on your tank. Even just one enemy hero can make you nervous. And it's even better since I have Chip on my team. So here, I sacrificed myself just to take down Granger, since he was the only strong one on the enemy team. And I knew that if they were down even one player, they wouldn't be able to defend against Madara anymore. Plus, the enemy's ultimates were already used. Just look, Tigreal, Sea Lion, and Carrie all used their ultimates, so they had nothing left. My teammates should definitely be able to handle the rest now, especially with Karina there to clean up the enemies who have no ultimates left. So yeah, the two enemy marksmen didn't win against us, even though we didn't have a marksman. Like, what's the point of having a marksman if your teammate can't use it properly, right? I don't get why so many people get mad when you pick a fighter for gold lane. Because if the player's just bad, they're bad. There's no fixing that. no matter what hero you use or how many times you try to babysit them. But please don't get me wrong. I'm not promoting that you should always use a fighter in the gold lane. I'm just giving you options that you can use in case you don't want to be too dependent on your teammates. Like if you're tired of always relying on your teammates to set up and protect you, which is really important when you're using a marksman. So when you're using a fighter, you don't need that as much since you can make your own plays, especially if you're already comfortable with fighters. This also helps reduce the number of players who only know how to use marksmen and just want the tank to babysit them the whole game. I'm not saying fighters are always better, but I can say they're better most of the time. And take note, this is especially for solo players. Of course, in 5-man teams, it's a different story. There are heroes that really shine with protection and proper setup, which isn't something you'll always get in solo queue. Everyone plays their own way in solo, so why make things harder for yourself, right? And even if you're up against skilled enemies or teammates, you can still keep up when using these fighters. So here guys, something kind of weird happened. I didn't know that Chip's ultimate could actually reveal you in the bush, or maybe I was just lagging. But what's even weirder was the way Harith used his flicker. In this game, our roamer is Chip again, but this time he's smarter and better. He already knows when and where to use his ultimate properly. And my lane opponent is Harith, not a marksman either, but he's commonly used by players and widely accepted. And as you can see, I'm lagging, so I can't really play properly. I'm not even sure if the lag is coming from ML itself or from our internet, but maybe it's really just our internet. There are so many obstacles in trying to reach top global with Masha. It's already hard enough to do even with a stable internet connection. What more when I'm constantly lagging and can't even figure out the best time to play without lag? Still, I think I played pretty well here. I could still handle things, though of course it would have been a lot better if my internet was stable. What's funny though is that even Suyu was lagging too. And the enemy lineup was mostly magic damage, yet he still picked Suyu. We all know his immortal form just got nerfed and no longer has magic damage reduction, so it really wasn't the best choice. Do you think Suyu's still viable right now even after that nerf? Here I'll get a double kill, but I'll be killed by Kimmy. I couldn't target her because I couldn't reach her, and if I forced myself to go after her, I'd just end up in trouble. So I just killed whoever was near me that I could reach. Then yeah, I just went for a nice split push again. It's really great, right? You don't have to be scared to split push because you know you can handle yourself. And I know that with just one ultimate from Chip, I can teleport right away. Too bad I didn't manage to destroy the holy defense. But look at this, guys. It's funny because Hanzo ran out of energy, but I guess he's still happy since he managed to kill me. Our Chip is really good this time because he knows exactly where to place his portal, and he always looks for Hanzo's real body too. Unlike earlier, where he would just drop the portal on whoever he saw, even if it was a tank and the enemies were all grouped together. And when I use Masha, there are times when I just stack on jungle creeps and don't recall, like here because the 3 enemies are dead. But in cases where all the enemies are alive, I'll just recall so I can recharge, even if I still have energy. So that's why we were able to push the enemy's inhibitor turret in the mid lane. And some are wondering why my battle spell has such a fast cooldown. Well, just take a guess. You can clearly see the lag, so I really can't play properly. What do you guys think? Is it the internet or is it ML itself? My Petrify got delayed, so Harith was able to flicker away. Good thing there was no delay on my instant recall. Masha and Chip's combo is really solid, right? I can instantly teleport to the enemy because of Chip's ultimate, and I can also instantly teleport back to base. And there, I even got a maniac, but I didn't chase or force the savage. Instead, I focused on finishing the game. So yeah, we won that game, and it was a bit easier compared to my previous game. It's really easy to win when I have Chip as my teammate, and I'm using Masha because you can clearly see how Chip's portal helped Masha, right? I'm at 70 stars after this game, but while editing this video, I'm already at 75 stars, getting closer to Immortal. Shout out to the newest member of this channel. I really appreciate it.